Hello Scorpio, and welcome to your insight video for the lunar cycle of January 2019 that will include and focus upon the two powerful eclipses that we will experience this month. So this has been a very intense couple of months of change and transformation for you, Scorpio. Reevaluating your worth, your self-value, your finances, your relationships, with the Venus retrograde, doing so much purging, so much releasing, I'm sure, and also, having Mercury doing the last few degrees of his retrograde in your sign, and Jupiter crossing the threshold as well in November. There's been a lot of activity going on for you, and as I begin these videos in the dark moon of the Capricorn eclipse, Venus is just coming across the final few degrees of your sign in trine to Chiron, in trine to the North Node in Cancer. So there may still be some, deep emotions rising up to the surface around the time of this full moon, as Venus crosses those last few degrees and you come to the end of this journey of Venus in your sign that has been going on since September onwards, as she did her extended stay in Scorpio this year. So hopefully you are feeling reborn in all of these areas, and perhaps releasing the last few dregs of any residual energy or buried emotions or feelings around Venusian themes as we come to this very powerful Capricorn solar eclipse on the South Node. So this eclipse will fall in your third house, Scorpio, which is where a lot of the energy and a lot of the activity has been taking place. A lot of the energy and effort in your life would have been manifesting through this phase of your birth chart since particularly last December, as Saturn entered this space for a long stay. He's going to be there till 2020, and this year he's going to be coming within a few degrees of Pluto as they prepare for their powerful, paradigm shifting conjunction, which will occur in January 2020. So wherever the energy of Capricorn is in our chart right now is where we're being tested, is where we're being challenged, is where we're being called to come to be the authority of our own life. So like I said, these energies and this eclipse, which is sandwiched between Saturn and Pluto, is going to be setting off a wave of initiation that will call us to let go of some of the old structures, some of the old familiar ways of being in this area of our life, so that we can ultimately manifest and create and build something new. So the third house is the interesting house of the birth chart. It's very much connected with the throat and with sacred self-expression. It's associated with Gemini, with Mercury. So it rules over all of our kind of neurological pathways, all of our thought processes, all of the small details of life. It rules over things like working, like writing, speaking and teaching. So if any of those things are, involved with your profession, then of course this energy is extra amplified for you. Or perhaps you've been studying, you're learning something new, you're applying that Saturnian discipline and focus into some kind of study, perhaps a spiritual study, as the North Node in Cancer is now in your 9th house. So maybe you're studying some kind of ancient wisdom, or there's something connected with your truth or with higher truth that you've been putting your time and energy into. Or perhaps you've been working hard to share your thoughts and feelings more, to write them down. Perhaps you're training to teach. Perhaps you've stepped up into a teaching role. So all of these things are highlighted by this eclipse, giving you the opportunity to make a new beginning in these areas, and also, you know, maybe calling you to let go of some old patterns or programs that aren't working. And perhaps there are some mental programs that need to be changed. Perhaps there's some way that you can transform those old beliefs that keep you secure yet stuck into something new, into a higher truth, into a ninth house truth. So looking at those kind of aspects of your life and seeing what needs to change, what is old and stagnant, and then what can be built upon. When we look at this house, we always think of the phrase of, you know, words being spells. What I speak, what I think are, you know, what my intentions are ultimately how my life will unfold. So, you know, meditating on that and thinking about how you're speaking, and particularly how you're speaking to yourself. Are your words loving and supportive to yourself, or are they, you know, critical? Are they, you know, are you doing Saturn? Are you constantly berating yourself for not being enough or not working hard enough? So these are all things that we can contemplate. And on a practical level, the third house also speaks of things like siblings. So brothers and sisters, we can have issues with brothers and sisters, or changes in our relationships, and friendships and social networks. So this can be something that can affect your groups and circles, online, in person, or perhaps, you know, you're just being forced to be a bit more sociable than you would like to be at this time, or perhaps there's some truths that need to be spoken to siblings or friends or people that you are involved in spiritual networks with. So all of this stuff can arise during this period, and this eclipse then leads us into the 2-week eclipse wormhole, and the day after, Venus is going to leave your sign around the 7th of January. The eclipse is going to be the early hours of the 6th here for us in the UK. So the day following, a couple of hours following, Venus moves into Sagittarius, into that second house of your birth chart where Jupiter has been activating since November last year. So this is really beautiful, because this energy can really support you in knowing your worth, in knowing your value, in, you know, giving you some extra blessings of abundance and opportunity, particularly as they, you know, Jupiter, the greater benefic and the lesser benefic, make their annual conjunction in this space of your birth chart on the 22nd of January, the day after the lunar eclipse, full moon, blood moon, wolf moon, everything moon eclipse in Leo, which will be in your 10th house of career and purpose and reputation. So this is finishing up the eclipse cycle that we were working with throughout late 2017 and 2018, powerfully activated in August 2018 with you know, Mars retrograding in Aquarius, that huge Aquarius eclipse, and the Leo solar eclipse on the 11th of August. So this can bring culmination to manifestations that were happening around that time, issues that were arising, particularly those connected with your purpose, connected with your work. So this can really work with those second house energies to highlight whether our work is truly aligned with the callings of our soul, and whether we feel truly valued and appreciated, you know, whether our work really lights a fire within us, where it, you know, does it ignite our creative fire, does it ignite our passion, does it really allow us to express ourselves? If not, then perhaps we need to make some changes. Perhaps we do need to take up a new course of study and learn something new so we can make the changes. And, you know, this can be to do with how we're seen in the world. And Leo loves to be seen, So perhaps there are some, because you're one of the more introverted signs quite often, Scorpio, one of the more private signs, perhaps this can be a time when you're being called to recognize your value and share yourself with the world. Let go of those thoughts of, oh, it's not enough, I haven't learned enough, I don't know enough, blah, blah, blah. And start to really allow yourself to shine and be seen and share your gifts and talents with the world. We've got Mars going through your 6th house. We talked a little bit about this in the previous video. So Mars in the 6th house, the house of our day-to-day routines, our day-to-day work, productivity, organization, decluttering. So this should be a really motivational energy for you in this first month of the year, Scorpio, to really start to make those changes that will support the growth of your new life. Get down to the nitty-gritty, the kind of practical details that need to be tended to before the big things can come into manifestation. This can be a time when you may feel more inflamed or toxic in your body, and you will feel energized enough to kind of make the changes, to say, oh, you know, I'm going to break these addictive patterns, I'm going to break these issues down, I'm going to stop self-sabotaging myself, and I'm going to move forward. So a powerful month for you, and well, a powerful month for everybody, but particularly, you know, focused around these areas of work and worth for you. After you've been in these emotional waters for so long, now we can start thinking about abundance, about vision, about goals, but always bearing in mind that the North Node's in Cancer. So discipline, surrender. Discipline, surrender. This is my intention, but I have trust. I can let go. I can see what the universe is bringing to me. Finding that balance is very crucial for this year of divine manifestation. So I'm going to pick a card for you, Scorpio, from the Goddess Guidance Oracle. So I'm just going to give them a little shuffle. And this is interesting. The goddess is Mat, the goddess of Libra. See her holding the scales. And the card is fairness. This situation will be handled in a fair and just matter. So this can be, if you're having any disputes or issues arising, sometimes Capricorn energy can bring up a lot of issues around authority, governments, legal system, anything, kind of any of these old patriarchal structures. Saturn can, you know, and Capricorn energy can really call us to face them and master them so that we can be the authority of our own lives. So if you're having any of these issues, Scorpio, then that is a signal that everything will turn out in a harmonious manner. You know, resolution will come and you will be treated fairly. And also it can be a message. It's interesting because Venus rules Libra and she's been moving through your sign for so long now, and hopefully you've really learned how to manage your energy, how to give and receive, how to allow yourself to receive love, to be given love. Because sometimes, you know, you can be, as a Mars ruled sign, you can be defensive, you can be independent, and you can be self-protective. So this is saying let other people help you as well. Let other people share the weight, share the burden. There's no kind of shame in that. And also about balance of your own life, like I just said, balance of Cancer and Capricorn, inner and outer, work and family, ambition and connection. We're all looking to create that harmonious flow in our lives during this cycle. So multiple messages there, and hopefully one of them makes sense and resonates for you. It's an interesting card to pull with all of the Venus energy. Thank you so much for listening to me, Scorpio. If you wish to connect with me further, you can click the links below this video. I'm wishing you a blessed lunar cycle.